United against Manchester City, top of the table clash. 8 points separate these two going into that game at Old Trafford. Is it must win for United, Craig? Do we go and say that much?
Yep.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, 8 points. I mean, all right, a draw keeps it where it is, clearly, but that's still a huge gap to peg back. And if you are going to do it, and City don't look like dropping points against any other teams, although they've had a couple of tighter games recently, I think it's going to shake itself off. I've been not quite at the best those teams have been sitting in. So yeah, at home, at Old Trafford, you've got to get it done.
Do you agree, boys? This is a must-win for United?
At home, yes, without question.
It's a must not lose, is it not? I mean, if they lose, it's done.
Oh, but a draw's okay, in your opinion?
Well, it means they're still 8 points behind, but at least they're still in with a fighting chance. I mean, and I don't see them getting anything, by the way, but I just see it as a must not lose. And unfortunately, I think Mourinho might see it like that as well. So, you know what you're getting ready for.
I just feel at home, United have to win. 8 points is the gap right now. It closes to 5. You're still asking a lot of everybody else in the league, which nobody's really shown that they can really push City all the way. I know they've had a couple of close scores, but even 5 points is a big gap for United to make up, both of them into the latter stages of the Champions League as well. I just don't see how a draw does Manchester United.
You said you know what Jose's going to do. In a sense, you think he's going to park the bus.
Well, he's not going to park the bus.
Well, that's
he's
what
going to do the same thing he did at Arsenal last week.
He's going to find a line, right? But it's going to be deeper than you would expect Manchester United to do at home. I'm sitting here trying to think. I can't remember ever seeing a Jose Mourinho team that was ever set up to go out and must win. I don't remember it, regardless of whoever he's coached. So there's no way he's going to do anything other than not park the bus. He'll start off defending high, and then after 20 minutes, it'll be the same as against Arsenal, and they'll end up deep.
The big difference is there's no Pogba, who was so key against Arsenal.
Yeah, but so were a couple of other players, and so was David De Gea. You know what I mean? So, look, he's not going to want to open himself up, is he? And let City play that fantastic football, those 1-2s, that first-time passing between 4 and 5 players, and that movement. If he leaves those spaces, he knows they'll get punished, right? He won't get away with... He didn't get away with it at Arsenal last week. The tactics and how it all panned out worked. But he won't get away with City having as much good possession in the final third and opportunities and expecting David De Gea, as good as he is, Shaq, just to have another game like... Sure. I mean, he might have another game like that, but the chances are they're probably going to be more clinical than that.
You give City 33 shots and score more than one goal.
Yeah, I think if you give Aguero and Jesus and De Bruyne and Silva, who we hear is fine, if you give them that, maybe Sterling, who's in good form, they ain't going to be as profligate as Arsenal were.
But what we've seen from City over recent weeks is, against lesser opposition, frustrated to the latter stages of the game, to the last few minutes of the game. Now, United can probably feel, well, we can set up a better defensive wall, a better boss than everybody else in the league, and maybe that's the way we get something out of City. At the same time, I really thought, I was very impressed with United and the high-pressing game, albeit to start with against Arsenal. But you get two-goal lead, understandably, you start dropping a little bit deeper. I'll be very surprised if United don't do that from the start. If they don't start with 2 up front, if they don't start pressing City higher up the park and see where that gets them.
Conversations about how United are going to play. I don't think.
There's not really.
And there's no point I'm preempting this, there's no point even looking ahead to next Monday and saying, well, let's have a chat about how Man United were boring. Because I don't think United fans, and I'm kind of you know, assessing where we're going to go with this, because I don't think United fans care how they play in this particular game.
And that's an interesting point, because there's
maybe over the piece.
There's no agenda. There was no way I was trying to lead this conversation, but you say that the fact that United fans don't care.
On this,
you don't think they care. You think United could get away with parking the bus because it's...
I think
there's no expectation of a certain style because it's United at Old Trafford.
I think over a longer term, probably, yeah. But over a one game against your near neighbours who are 8 points ahead, I think if you give United a 1-0 win or a narrow win, they'll not be walking out to Old Trafford talking about the way they played. They'll be talking about the fact, oh, this City team are supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread and are going to go and potentially win the Champions League, and we've just stuffed them. I think that's more
I think there are some United fans who'd care. I can
The
think
prawn
of,
sandwich
I can
brigade.
think of quite a few ex-Manchester United players who care a lot about how they play and how they win games. But there's a new breed of fan now whose only focuses on how many points they get, and it doesn't really matter how they get them, which is not the United I know, not the United I play.
I saw Liverpool go to. I saw United go to Liverpool with Fergie years ago, and some of the games get battered, right, and hardly got over the halfway line. But because Ferguson played an expansive game, generally a lot of times he wasn't sort of criticised for that. But I didn't hear anybody coming out then saying, "Well, that was just we got a result at United, but it's not acceptable the way we play," because they've done it before.
I think part of his problem is going to be if they lose this game by doing the usual Mourinho.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that people are going to say,
Right.
particularly the fans. If Manchester United win this game, you won't hear one fan complaining about how they went about it.
And I think that's the thing, and in the comparison to the say, Alex Ferguson days. If United have a bad day, or if they had a bad game and you find yourselves under the caution, you lose a game, you don't get criticised for that. But if this is how you play 9 times out of 10, sit deep, defend, and hope to catch somebody on the break in the 85th minute, then at some point everybody's going to turn and start to criticise, and I think rightly so.
The problem that United have is they're not playing against the back line that Arsenal had, who, when United win the ball 60 yards from goal, can go 60 yards and just walk through.
Right.
Because Manchester City haven't been like that this year. They've been solid defensively. And if you're going to sit in the edge of your box, or 30 yards from the edge of your box, if you're Man United, you've still got a long way to go before you score, and you've still got a tougher job against City than you will have against any other defence in the Premier League.
There's a lot of things you can mask with a result, right?
Yeah, sure.
But and you can't mask it. You can mask 26% possession, and you can mask stats if you get a result, right? But as Stevie pointed out, when you play like that and things go against you, particularly against your biggest rivals and your neighbours and your nemesis in the other technical area, by the way, who clearly there's an edge between them, then that's when you get opened up. So and when people say, well, it's not just about results, absolute nonsense. It is.
Guardiola has said that David Silva is a doubt for the Manchester derby this weekend, but Jose Mourinho isn't buying it. Craig Burley is here with me. Craig, Mourinho says Guardiola's just playing mind games. Funny that's coming from a certain Jose Mourinho, but I mean, who doesn't these days? Did this ever happen in your day?
I was thinking about that this morning. Not for a long time, I have to say, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always gone on.
Manager mind games.
I mean, what difference does it make? Because United are not setting the whole team up for David Silva. As good a player as he is, right? They're setting the team up to win a game, not necessarily for one player, right? He's got more problems because he's got to worry about what he's going to do without Paul Pogba. And David Silva looked pretty all right at that end of the West Ham game to me. I can't remember if anything happened right at the end, but when he scored that goal, he looked okay. So, I don't see any reason for Pep to start lying about players. I mean, if anything, they'd probably say Kevin De Bruyne is struggling, and Fernandinho's struggling, and the goalkeeper's struggling. So, I'm not sure that's the case. It will have absolutely no bearing whatsoever in the game.
But in terms of manager mind games on whole, like you said, they do go on. And of course, if you were a manager, would you let these things affect you? Is it a tactic that actually does work?
No. And it's nonsense, but managers are paranoid.
But it gets under some managers'
Managers
skins.
are paranoid, and I know that for a fact because I've worked with so many, and about team sheets. Team sheets are like the crown jewels, where they keep them close. Don't let them know, as if he's going to make a difference, because they're not going to pick a team. He's going to pick his team, and the blue half's going to pick one, and the red half's going to pick one. And when the team sheets come in, an hour before, around about, when you get them and the manager gets them, and you swap them over, he's not going to say, Mourinho this. I don't think he's going to say, I would have picked a different team if I'd known that was happening. I mean, it might happen now and again, but it's not going to happen at the weekend.
All right.
Question, Ronald Koeman, do you think Jesse Lingard can be a threat to the City defence as well? Well, Jesse Lingard has been United's revelation for the last 2 games against Watford, against Arsenal. His pace, his energy. I think because he's a local lad as well, that obviously helps. He's played in derbys before. I think Lingard can be a threat, and he could be underestimated by City. Second question from Basilati: when will Mourinho get criticised for not playing his players enough? Well, Luke Shaw's an obvious player that hasn't played very often for Mourinho this season. But the results suggest that Mourinho's right. You know, United are second in the table, and but for Man City's fantastic start, people will be saying that he's done a great job, so you can't really complain at his selection. Question from Chigoza, who are the key players this weekend? Well, for me, the key player was Romelu Lukaku because he had 1 goal in 12 games. He has to start scoring soon. This is a big game. He had a good record against City for Everton, so if Lukaku scores, United win. If Lukaku's poor again, City win. Question from Kake, is there a battle that United need to neutralise a certain player they need to neutralise in the game? City have got so many players, Leroy Sané, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero. There's too many players. You just have to defend as a team rather than one man-to-man. Question from Marlene, how will Paul Pogba's absence affect United's tactics? Well, Pogba's absence is massive for United. He's the one player they've got that can go box to box, create on the edge of the box, stretch the game. United don't have a replacement for him, so I think it could change Mourinho's tactics in a big way. Next question, United conceded 15 shots on goal against Arsenal. Can they keep Man City out? Well, different game against City. United will go into it with different tactics. I think Mourinho felt that Arsenal could be got at a lot easier than City, so I think United will be more resolute, and I think it'll be a much tighter game. They'll stifle City a lot more than Arsenal. Okay, good question from Akhlak about Sir Alex Ferguson when he retired in 2013. Should he have done more to get Pep Guardiola to come to the club? Well, Sir Alex tried. He met Pep Guardiola in New York, and Pep decided he's got to Bayern Munich, but I think Pep was always going to go to Man City after Bayern Munich because he's got too many connections there, so Sir Alex could have tried as much as he liked. He was always going to get David Moyes. Question from Medusha, if City wins in the title race over, they'll be 11 points clear by Christmas, so I think that it'll take a real miracle for anyone, United, Tottenham, to catch them, so City win, title's over.
Welcome to Extra Time. Thanks for your questions. We'll get some in a moment. Shaq, we didn't have you in the conversation of favourite Christmas movie. Craig doesn't like them. He likes to watch documentaries about South Korea.
Elf is my favourite movie.
South Korea?
Favourite Christmas
Oh, it's
movie.
North Korea.
North Korea. Inside North Korea.
Elf. Oh.
It's very
Do they
interesting.
have Christmas in North Korea?
Well, I mean, I can't.
Right.
I tell you, all I can tell you is some of these political things are actually quite interesting. But there's a reason I watched that.
Why is that?
I can't explain.
Well, there's a reason I watched
Reason,
it.
but I'm not telling
Christmas Day last year didn't quite go to plan. Let me just put it
In the
that
Burley household.
What surprised you? What Christmas Day surprised you? just snuck up in your...
Bloody tree. I came down the morning, there was a tree there.
you. Oh, you went
No,
on
it's-
Santa coming down the chimney.
It was a bit of a... I can't... Somebody got very emotional.
Was
Drunk,
it you?
you mean drunk?
Was it you?
Drunk.
Yes.
We're getting there.
I was kind of...
Well happy.
On your own.
Well, the dog was there.
You and the dog. What should we do? Let's watch a documentary about North Korea. Stevie, do you have a Christmas?
Oh, and I forgot
favourite-
about the fire.
What happened by the
I
fire?
forgot to open the flue at the top of the fireplace, and I set the fire, my wood fire, and all the smoke come in the house as well.
Great Christmas you had.
And the smoke alarm was going off.
Right.
For a long time, I couldn't get it off. And the aforementioned
here.
person who had a difficult day knew nothing about it
Wow.
after 20 minutes.
Stevie, favourite Christmas movie? No.
See?
The Beatles.
Okay. Is Gab with us? Is he still here? No, he's gone.
It's not
Right,
just
okay.
me. See? It's not just me. Oh, it's-
No, that's fair enough. Will a win for United reignite the title race, or will City retain the dominance against after... Oh, crikey, I'm going to do all that again, I'm sorry.
Will a win
For United reignite the title race, or will City retain the dominance
Hold
again
the-
after the weekend if they
They
lose?
lose.
Hold the paper up.
Right.
What did you say there?
Yes. Right, next question. If you were Aubameyang, how much money would it take for you to join a club as desperate as Everton?
Aubameyang's pretty desperate as well, isn't he?
He's not joining Everton anyway.
Why not?
Where'd that?
Why was he? Right. Borussia Dortmund aren't exactly top of the tree right now.
No.
But I tell you what, they're miles ahead of Everton. So why is he going to leave Dortmund to go to Everton?
Did you think
Are
this?
you telling me Everton are going to give him more money?
Of course,
The
at Dortmund. Definitely.
Anyway, forget that.
Okay.
Aubameyang's going to look to go to some nights in the Champions League. Straight away, that rules Everton out.
Right. But if he's going to move in
Sorry.
if he's going to move in January,
Listen, he's not moving to Everton.
all right.
Just don't kid yourself.
All right. Craig, do you have an opinion on this?
No.
Should Spurs try to get back Bale, and should Bale consider a return?
No. No. I think Bale would go to
Man United.
Probably.
It's all about the ESPN FC Top 100. Gab Marcotti is joining me as we look at the top 10 forwards.